So on November 12th, Rosetta is going to release the lander. The lander is a spacecraft in its own right called Philae. And Philae is going to land on the comet. This is the first time we've ever had a spacecraft land on a comet. So the comet that the Rosetta mission has now arrived at is called 67P Churyumov-Gerasimenko. 67P means it's the 67th periodic comet that had been discovered. So this is a comet that is also called a Jupiter family comet. It orbits from out to the orbit of around Jupiter to within the orbit of, say, between the Earth and Mars. This comet, we know comets in general are made of ices, water ice, carbon dioxide ice, and others. So we see water coming off this comet already. We know that this comet has those ices in it. This comet is also a different shape and characteristic than we initially imagined. You might think that some comets, think of the nucleus, that very core of the comet might be round or maybe like a lumpy potato. This one has two very distinct parts to it. We call one part the head and the other part the body or the base, and there's this narrow neck that connects them up. So one possibility is that this comet is what we call a contact binary, where two pieces of frozen leftover debris from the formation of the solar system slowly collided and stuck together to create, freeze together to create one piece. So that's one possibility of what this comet might be and how it was made. It's important to understand how comets are put together, because we know that comets have hit the Earth in the past. The dinosaurs know that as well as anyone. And if a comet were to have the Earth in its sights again, it would be very valuable to know how a comet is put together. Is it more like a solid chunk of icy rock, or is it more like pebbles or sand held together by electrostatic charges and gravity? And knowing how the comet is put together would then inform us how to best divert the comet if we knew that one was coming to hit the Earth in, say, the next 40 years. There were many unknowns going into this mission that launched 10 years ago to a comet that actually wasn't even the first initial mission target. So you had to plan this whole mission to be able to accommodate a wide range of unknown factors that the spacecraft was going to find itself having to observe in and land on. Southwest Research Institute has built an instrument called ALICE. ALICE isn't an acronym, it's just a pretty name. And ALICE is an ultraviolet spectrometer. What that means, it's a camera that breaks light up into a rainbow, but in this case, it's an ultraviolet rainbow. And so Rosetta will use that ultraviolet rainbow to study the gases that come off the comet. Every gas has its own unique fingerprint. Different gases like carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, water, argon, all have certain lines or fingerprints that are visible in the ultraviolet. So by looking at that spectrum and finding the fingerprints, we can tell what the different materials are that the comet is made of.